Today you're going to learn about octaves. Before, when you were learning intervals, you just learned the name octave, but now we're going to get more specific with different accidentals and slightly different variations. So today, octaves can be perfect, diminished, and augmented. In a perfect octave, the note name and accidental of the top note are the same as the bottom note. So bottom note and top note are the same. Here we have on the bottom F sharp, on the top F sharp. Here are some D flats, A's, G double sharps. So we're talking about an octave, scale degree 1's there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's what makes it an octave. What makes it a perfect octave is that the accidentals match. Okay, next we're going to talk about diminished octaves. To diminish something is to make it smaller. We're still going to keep the interval an octave, but the top note will be a half step lower than it was in our perfect octave by changing the accidental. So before in the previous screen we had F sharp and F sharp. Now we have F sharp and F natural because a natural is a half step lower than a sharp. We've still maintained the distance of 8. We haven't actually moved this note from where it was last time. We just changed the accidental to move it down a half step. So this is a diminished octave. If we had D flat on the bottom and we need some type of D on the top, a half step less than a flat is a double flat. So here's a diminished octave built on D flat, A and A flat makes a diminished octave, G double sharp and G sharp makes a diminished octave. Remember that the note names of your bottom note and your top note have to still be the same. If they aren't the same, you don't have an octave anymore. You probably have a seventh. So the accidental of the top note is what has lowered it a half step to make a diminished octave. Augmented octaves, on the other hand, to augment something is to make it larger. So, as you may have guessed, augmented octaves, the top note is a half step higher than it was in our perfect octave. If our bottom note is F sharp, we need an F double sharp on the top to make it augmented. If our bottom note is D flat, we need D natural. I could have put a natural sign here, or you can put nothing if there's no key signature, and there is no key signature. A on the bottom, A sharp on the top is a half step larger than a perfect octave. G sharp on the bottom, G double sharp makes an augmented octave. Again, same thing here. The note names are still the same, an F and an F, a D and a D, an A and an A G and a G. If they aren't the same, you don't have an octave anymore, and that won't count. And the accidental of the top note is what has raised it a half step. That's all there is to octaves.